This batch which will start from June will be the first of this batch which will have this accreditation. That's why we are having this seminar, and we'll have a series of seminars actually, which is basically to tell people about this new opportunity that they have, which is that they can do a course. They can do a course here in Bombay, paying Indian rupees, but get a certificate that is equivalent to 1.5 semesters of the course that College of Media Arts and Design runs. So you basically are in 1 year doing what they do in 1.5 years. Then with these credits you can go there, and in the University of Westminster you can choose your electives, whatever you want, and carry your education forward if you want to, or any other university in the world which accepts these credits, which are a huge number of universities around the world who will accept these credits. You can show these credits because your admission in foreign universities is based on the credits you get. So with these credits you can get a fairly advanced admission in many of the courses. Plus, this diploma itself is going to be like a, I would say, a star-studded diploma. Because of the intensity and the quality controls that we have put in, I don't think that there are very many courses in India which can match this right now.
Courses are designed by University of Westminster?
No, they've been designed by us, but they have been checked and rechecked by them. Yeah, so they have, that's how they've given us an accreditation. Well, I am a prime example of a person who started as an editor, and I am now almost like a full-time director. But before me, when you go back in the history of cinema, I mean, most of the directors who have made a name for themselves have had some training in editing, like David Lean. Okay, then and in India you have like a whole lot of guys like David Dhawan. Then you have Sanjay Bhansali, Rajkumar Hirani. They were all editors who shifted over to direction. But it's not necessary to be a specialist editor to become a good director. Because as a director, all you need to know is to understand the importance of the process of editing in the whole process of filmmaking, and to apply your mind to the activity of editing with the same intensity that you apply your mind to shot designing and shot conception and directing acting or actors. Editing is, I would say, one of the most subtle aspects of filmmaking, and it is the silent hand which actually controls your experience of a film. And that silent hand is very intelligently guiding you through a series of experiences, and everything that you feel, everything that you experience, everything that you see or hear is actually filtered through the conscious choices that an editor makes. But it's not only the editor never works in isolation. It's always editor plus director. The same thing in the cameraman. The cameraman never works in isolation. He's a cameraman plus director. Same thing with the audio engineers. Audio engineer plus director. Director is like the overall, what you can say, commander plus also mate, because he can't only be commanding. He has to work with technicians in a way that he elicits the best from them. You know, if a person only sits and gives orders, then this person will say, okay, you say, I'll just do what you're saying. But my job as a director, if I'm a director, is to find out what his creativity is, to excite him, to motivate him, and to get him to the point where he feels like he is in fact owning the film. That question of cross ownership is the key to the success of any film. And the beauty about filmmaking is, unlike any other art, which is mostly about subjective expression and about personal expression, cinema is about finding that personal voice through a teamwork. It is the director's medium, and most of the time a director must come through as a person who is the author of the film. But the way the film gets made is by using the creativity and using the energy of many minds, which somehow become one mind. And just as people have the ability to divide themselves and become like totally aloof from each other, the human mind also has the capacity to actually lock itself in such a way that everybody starts thinking in the same way. Film is not ready till it is edited. So, when film is not ready till after the audio post and everything is also done. So, and there's a huge amount of activity that happens after the images have been acquired. So, we divide the filmmaking process into three major parts: pre-production, production and post-production. Pre-production involves the writing of scripts, research, etc., location hunting, etc., all that, plus looking for finance, finding producer, creating infrastructure, all that. Production basically involves the actual time when the camera is rolling and the microphone is recording sound, and when you are acquiring the material, the basic raw material from which films will be made. But then the raw material has to be processed. That processing factory is first in the editing studio, where you edit and in many ways like you create the primary material on which the audio engineers will work. But then after the film is edited, there's a huge reinterpretation of the film that happens in the audio workstation. It's amazing how sound can change the look and feel of a film completely. And so that whole process, like first process is acquisition, second process is editing, third process is audio post. All of it then finally produces the film which we see in a very polished form.